Hello, my wonderful people. I don't come back again. Oh, still on the issue of Biafra liberation. Still on the what do they call it? Still on the issue of Biafra or declaration of Biafra. Comes the 2nd of December 2024. All of them don't they panic. A lot of people don't they panic. But I can tell you that we the Biafrans are not panicking because Simon Ekpa made it clear to them that he will speak to them the language that they will never understand. When the so-called Buhari threatened the Igbos that he will speak to us the language we understand. And we made him to understand, and the zoo at large, that our language will be very, very rare for them to understand. And that is what is happening right now. Obasanjo is in panic. What is happening in Kenya is not even closer to what is going to happen in the zoo. But Southeast is exceptional because we are going home. We don't care. They can protest for God knows when, where, how they do it. We don't care. What we care is that Biafra is coming 2nd of December. And that is where we stand. Hashtag Biafra Max Exodus 2024. Today, the Nigerian government has never understand what that means. Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. Anyway, before I dive into this issue of Obasanjo being panicked, because I'm reading from the platform of Simon Ekpa Njoko, the BG Prime Minister. Please, before we proceed, I want you to do me a favor. I am doing everything humanly possible to make sure that I bring all this news to your doorstep. I make sure that I do my verification. I do my own research. And I make sure that I bring this news down to your doorstep. What do you need to do? You are not doing anything bigger than just click on your share button. Make sure your next door neighbor hears about the news that comes from Okute Daily Talk. That's the only way you can pay me back for my resilience in this phase of challenges. Even me where they shout yourself, I never even chop. Because everything don't cost for Nigeria. Me, I never chop. But see yet, the little strength I have, I go use and call here, come they shout, come they give on a better news. What are you going to use to pay me back? Share the message. Any of my message, let it go viral. Before we dive into Obasanjo, there's one headline I just saw now. Maazi Sowore, whatever they call him, is want to lure the Igbos into protest. And it will never work for him. Despite the fact that he said, look at what he talked. He said, our struggle for a just, free, and egalitarian society won't be complete without demanding for an unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You know, when he put this word, you know our Igbos, once they mention Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, everybody want to listen. But surely, let me shock you. We don't pass that Rubicon. We don't pass that level to the fall into just a cheap trap. You want to push the Igbos to protest with you against your own brother, so that tomorrow you will pardon the same way they pardon Igboho and they still holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the Igbos, if they go out there now to shoot protesters, they'll be looking at their faces because they know the face of Igbo, and the one that is not Igbos, and they begin to kill them. You can never push us into whatever they call it, protest or whatever. You want to protest against your own brother or against your own kinsman, wey be Tinubu, my dear, go ahead, but count us out. According to Sowore, he said, in 2019, we demand, our demands included free Ezazaki. He is free man today. Hashtag free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now. Well, we thank you very much for calling out, for making it clear that they need to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Can you organize your people the same way you used to organize them and go there and protest for the use of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? But as for luring the Igbos into the protest, Ukwai, Makai, Ayahade, because we are not Nigerians. We are going home. As simple as that. So, if you are an Igbo man and you are hearing this message, whether you're there for Lagos, Abeokuta, Osun, Oyo, OYO on your own, you're there for Ibadan, or Ibadan, Ogun, or you're there for Nasarawa, Kwara. In fact, all the whole 36 of the federation, as long as you're an Igbo man, if they say they want to protest, jejely and wayoli, close your shop, go back to your home, and rest. When they finish protest, you go back to your shop. If you have anyone left, because when they start to protest, the people that will always collect at the end of that protest will be the shop of the Igbos will be looted. So instead of them to loot your shop and loot your life as well, just go back to your home. When the protest finish, come outside. If you find anything in your shop, then thank you, Ochi. If you don't find anyone, you start afresh. Nobody should join them in any protest. I'm using my own platform as well to give out this message. No protest for the Igbos. Whether you are born in Lagos or you are born in Ajokuta, Abeokuta, or Ajokuta, or you are born in Oyo, on your own, please, day your day. Let them day their day. Now, waiting they want, now him they get. So nobody should law any Igbo man to go and protest. We never voted for Tinubu, and we can never vote for him. So before we proceed with the main matter, where they ground, now him be Simon Ekpa Njoko, he don't come out to come right. He said Obasanjo is in panic. He literally pointed out that colonialists left, but their structure still remained. He understood that the only way forward to revisit the amalgamation, which is the colonial structure which they left behind. He knows that the remedy is to implement African solutions to African problems. Furthermore, as a former head of state, he is in a better position to describe democracy as he cleared the air that he has never worked by saying that there is no dividend from it. Finally, the autumn will soon turn to winter as the sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Finally, what we will do to Nigeria will be unimaginable. This one is from Simon Ekpa Njoko, the lion himself has spoken. I want you to please join me to hear what OBJ talk according to when they were being interviewed over the crisis in Africa as a whole. This one, a single man who cornered over 16 billion naira that is meant for electricity. That is why you see me and you today don't have electricity in the zoo. We are listening to our first democratically elected president under civilian rule, OBJ, by name Olusegun Obasanjo Chief. I'll be right back to address the matter on my own understanding and my own little mind. But first of all, listen to them and listen attentively.
Look, you see the Gen Z wave sweeping across the continent. You've seen what it's done in Kenya. Can you see it? Is it happening across the continent?
Well, some of us have sounded warning about this. And all over Africa, we are all sitting on a keg of gunpowder because the youth, and there's virtually no exception in Africa where the youth are not angry. They are unemployed. They are unempowered, and they see nothing other than hopelessness. And in a situation like that, what you have from frustrated youth is anger. And when they have no hope, and if you really want to kill any human being, take hope out of his life.
Yeah.
And that is what is happening.
And they have nothing to lose.
And they have, well, if you have nothing to gain, you are jobless, you are not empowered, you are in poverty. And then you see your leaders, some of them in obscene affluence. Then what do you do? You are a human being, and the resources of your country is provided for that country by God for the benefit of all the citizens of that country.
Absolutely. I remember in 2011 when the Arab Spring was sweeping across North Africa, and then you came to Kenya a couple of years later, and we were talking about that, and then you coined a phrase that I remember all to this day. You said, from the Arab Spring, there'll be an African winter. Is this what's happening?
It's the beginning. And if no adequate attention is paid to the needs of the youth in Africa, the autumn will turn to winter.
And it will be ugly.
It will be very ugly for all of us.
Tell me something, Mr. President. You seem to be like the peacemaker on the continent. Whenever there's a conflict, you show up. What is it about this democracy or multipartyism that we don't get?
I believe that, of course, when the colonial powers were leaving Africa, as they had to leave, they gave us or left us with what they know best. Western liberal democracy. My belief is that we have to rethink Western liberal democracy because it doesn't seem to be working for us. You see, you have as part of Western liberal democracy what they call loyal opposition. I have looked into most African languages. Opposition is enemy. And what do you do with enemy? You cannot talk of a loyal enemy. Now, that is what they had. Because their liberal democracy emanated from monarchy. And of course you can be loyal to monarchy. But in our own case, opposition is enemy. And what you do is crush your enemy. And so we have to rethink commonality, consensus. These are things that we understand and we practice in traditional African society.
But Mr. President, in your country, in Nigeria, a country of more than 200 million people, democracy seems to be working. You have like two major parties. You have People's Democratic Party, PDP, and you have Alliance for Democracy, AD. And they keep switching back and forth, back and forth. But here in Kenya, we have briefcase parties. They change every 5 years.
Even Nigeria, I don't think you got it right, with all due respect. For democracy, if what you are talking about of democracy is just election and going to vote every 4 years or every 5 years, to me that is not democracy. That is just one symbol of democracy. For me, democracy must be able to deliver what I call the dividend of democracy. And it does appear that in Africa, the dividend of democracy is not being delivered. So we have to then go back to the drawing board and say to ourselves, well, we are not getting what we should get, so what should we do about it? I call it, should we look at something? It will still be democratic, but should we look at something that has African content in it? African context and African content.
Speaking of which, you were there at the advent of NEPAD,
Yes.
New Economic.
And I don't hear them. This is what we have been agitating for so long. So Basanjo have just went to Kenya where they're having a kind of interaction where, okay, maybe he went to the African Union meeting. I don't know what they are doing there, whether they are doing a presidential election, election of who will be their head. But the truth there is that this man have already vindicated all the Biafrans, emphasis on all, because what he says here, the answer he gives to this interviewer all still boils down to the fact that everything that he said here is in favor of us. Yes. What is democracy? Democracy, they call it election, but democracy is really not what it is. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, with the people. Can you count the Southeasterners to be among those people since 1999 that the so-called democracy and civilian rule came to Nigeria? The answer is 0 point. And Obasanjo will pay for what he did to all the whole Southeasterners, because till tomorrow, he still remains one of the enemies of the Southeast. Forget about all these jamborees that he is doing with our so-called governors and the House of Rep members. Anyway, let us take the reactions from the netizens here. After from here, then we are going to elevate ourselves down to the comment section, where Sowore was calling for the Igbos to join in protest for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He is calling for revolution. Avoid the Igbos. In fact, we use this language. Get out of here. Prince Ademu Iwakon talk say all these are fictions. Nigeria stands ahead of any intimidation from any terrorist. Yeah? Wow. Nigeria stands from any terrorist, and terrorists is ravaging you. Religious Freedom and Monitoring BG can talk to say finally Nigeria and OBJ raise the bold handwritings on the wall. Mene teke lupase. Yo, tin mene. Chineke kwenyojo. My brother, you must surely explain this language at the comment section for me. If not, managa will open the trouser. God has numbered the days of Nigeria and brought it to an end. Take care. Nigeria have taken way and found wanting of her sin. Nigeria is divided into two nations, Biafra and one new nation. Amen. That's all this our brother TikTok. Then let us have the idea or the reaction of IK Maintain Jr. He said they know and they cannot do anything about it because what is standing in front of them is bigger than them. Biafra is not a child's play. If you try to stop it, your head will go for it. You see, Biafra is just like something you see, but you cannot reach or touch it. That's what this our brother talk. To TV, like one talk say, Olusegun Obasanjo, the great chameleon of all time. He will say something else and do something else. He just one of the British slave boys that goes around to put things in place for the benefits of his masters, the British. Biafra is here to stay. Hashtag Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. Dominica, can he do anything to change that? The answer is no. Follow who no road. They refuse. They will continue talking till they break. In fact, they go explain until they get tired. Hashtag Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. That is what I want you people to be doing. At the end of your comment, add this hashtag. All the very, very important. At Ifeanyi Uzochukwu Kontok say, at OBJ knows all this, but he continues to plan kidnap of our Prime Minister, which him and his gang has failed. Hashtag Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. Nation. They should stop crying. It is not yet time to cry. Hashtag Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. I'm not going to the other comment, you. Now here we go finish it. Hey. Nena Wigwe, he said this is an example of freedom is taken and not given. Obasanjo and his likes know all this instead of addressing the fundamental issues. So no one is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. They rather prefer to sit on the keg of gunpowder waiting for its explosion. Well, it is exploding now. Everybody should hide their head in shame. Chinyere Media, Biafrans are strong behind. Hashtag Biafrans Mass Exodus 2024. Chikolo Kontok say our PM one day as four-term Democratic President and military head of state of the zoo. What was he thinking? Change is the only constant thing in life. All their loots that destroy the youths will hurt them forever. A-born. Hashtag Biafra Mass Exodus 2024. Ojudu Okeara is panicking in his time as a president. Why did you think like this? To make Nigeria better. Now, well, of course, now, when they were in seat, it seems like they have been covered with the... Anyway, you can't blame them. Don't blame them because some people put them there. They are not the one governing. They are just only caretaker, just like Tinubu. People say, hey, wait for Tinubu. My dear, the people who is holding you down have already planned for 2027 election, how it will be completed. That is why you're not seeing Naira escalating. Dollar is going high today. They have buy all the whole dollars and they shut all the whole banks to store the dollars. Yes, that's why you see dollar is skyrocketing. Dollar is in Nigeria, but the Nigerian government have seized it. OBJ is a caretaker. He's been controlled by the so-called Westerners, UK precisely. telling him what to do, what not to do. Once you go against their instruction, they will remove you. Vote of no confidence will come from nowhere. So nobody should blame Tinubu now, or blame Bubu, or even Obasanjo. My dear, till today, nobody have told us what sickness that killed Yaradua. These people murdered Yaradua. Because they believe this man 8 years. Today, Nigeria would have been the best place. Nobody will even, they talk about agitation. I can tell you the simple truth. Nigeria would have been like Singapore or Japan if they allow this guy, Yaradua, to continue. But they prove the man. Yaradua is never sick. The only president who's sick and they not revive him. Do you know how long Tinubu, Tinubu is also sick. Do you know how long Buhari was sick? But he didn't die. Yaradua all of a sudden they say, hey, he's sick. Before you know it, they poof him. UK never explained to Nigerians what happened to Yaradua. The Kabars never explained to Nigerians what happened to Yaradua. We are still waiting. So, waiting for Bubu or Tinubu or OBJ to do something, my dear. The people who get your mineral resources are still doing the choking them. They are the one that instigated the kidnap of Mazen Nam. They couldn't do it in UK. UK is behind every battle happening in Nigeria. All those people that are recruiting, they tell you insecurity or non-government. Who is supplying them arms? Ask about UK. They know. People who don't have mineral resources, who don't have gold, but they have the highest gold reserve in the whole of the world. Where are they getting it? From Africans. And you want the OBJ to do something when they impose OBJ on the people. They impose Buhari, they impose Tinubu, they impose OBJ. OBJ then bring Yaradua, which he know that will cover him and work because of what these people did to him. But when they see that the man is not the one they imposed on, they poof the guy. Bukana. He is a double-edged knife according to Trump 24. He said, what he says today will be different from tomorrow. Hashtag Biafran mass exodus 2024. Augustine Ugo said, Biafrans, we are going home. Thank you, my PM. Hashtag Biafran mass exodus 2024. Ike Maintain Jr. said, we are getting to that point. The point when we see them, we know that these are the people that kept us where we are today. I know follow will be the music of the day. God have mercy. That day, that day should not come or should not be what I imagined because it will be very brutal and disastrous. Now, so I can maintain talk for his comment. What about Take One Crib said what Biafra government under your leadership is doing to them, the Godu, unimaginable. And after the December 2nd declaration, Abanyere film, Hana Elele Nanya before. PM, Ikwetago, Mbudizu, Ikwatugo Mbudizu. Bartholomew Uzebu, contact say, Oku Dioval, they are panicking. My PM, keep on doing what you know how to do best. We move. So my people, now here we go take NDT. We are coming back again with another blue. I told you, I said today is going to be fire for fire. So like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos coming your way. Bye for now. Kemesianu.